In today's video, we are unboxing every single Beyblade released in 2023. We're going to rate every single Beyblade, so if you're looking for a Beyblade to buy or you just want to see a review on a certain Beyblade, I'll have timestamps in the description. But before we start, I just want to give a massive shout out to the Beyblade store Beys And Bricks. They're the ones who sent me every single Beyblade, so if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be able to make this video. They're an amazing Beyblade store with some pretty good prices for all their bays. If you're looking to start an X collection, I definitely recommend buying from them. Just make sure the product you're buying says Tomy on their website. You can use the code LeftBurst to get an 8% discount on any purchase. And yeah, with that out of the way, let's get started. Starting it off, we have B01 Dran Sword, probably the most popular X Beyblade out right now, and for good reason. It is the premier attack type, and I feel like in Beyblade X, attack is by far the best type. So let's just open this guy up. I thought we got scammed for a second. I looked at it and I only saw the launchers, like there's no Beyblade. Starting off with the blade, here we have Dran Sword. Now Dran Sword is one of, if not the best attack blades in X right now. It's one of the heaviest blades and it has like crazy attack points. Like these 3 attack points, these metal contact points, it causes Beyblades to go flying. Anyway, as for its design, I didn't really like its design that much at first, but it's definitely grown on me. Next, we have the Ratchet 360. Now 360 is probably one of the best ratchets out right now. It has really good burst resistance because it's low, and it also doesn't have that many contact points. So if you're looking for a Beyblade with a lot of burst resistance, you should put 360 on that combo. Finally, we have the flat bit. Now flat is probably my favorite attack type bit. It's not too crazy like gear flat or low flat, but it's also a little more aggressive than rush and taper. I feel like it's a nice middle ground. So here is the Beyblade all put together, Dran Sword 360 flat, and overall this combo is spectacular. The combo itself right out of the box is a competitive combo, probably honestly the best attack type combo you can make. So because of that, I think I'm going to give this set a 10 out of 10. You also get ripcord launcher, and ripcord launchers in X are actually pretty good. So yeah, I would definitely recommend if you're getting an X Beyblade and you already have a Stadium, definitely go for Dran Sword BX01, probably the best Beyblade you can get out of the box. Next up, we got BX02 with my man, Scythe 460 Taper. Now, unlike Bird in the anime, Scythe is actually a pretty good Beyblade in real life. It's a right spinning bounce type Beyblade. It acts very similar to Dran Sword, except because of its a bounce type Beyblade, it has a little more stamina and a little more control. Let's unbox it. Alright, so here is the Scythe blade, and I definitely like the avatar way more than the Dran Sword avatar. Like the flaming skull, that looks so cool, man. I think they did an amazing job with that. Now, as for the design of the blade itself, even though it's supposed to be a scythe, I don't really see it. It looks like a weird circle. But anyway, the Scythe blade is actually pretty good. It's a very round Beyblade, so it's used in defense combos, and it has pretty good stamina as well. Next up, we have the Ratchet. This is 460. It's very similar to the 360 Ratchet that came on Dran Sword, except this guy has an extra knob, which I guess doesn't really help with burst resistance, but it adds a little bit more weight. Finally, we have the bit Taper. Now, Taper is very similar to Flat. They're basically the same exact bit, except Taper is just slightly smaller, so you will have slightly more stamina with it, but still, it's a flat bit, so it's going to go around the stadium like crazy. Here is the Beyblade all put together, and this might be a little controversial, but I definitely prefer the look of Scythe over Dran Sword. I think it looks better. Maybe just the red. The red looks so cool. No, it's definitely the avatar. The avatar looks so good. Anyway, again, it acts very similar to Dran Sword, except it's a little bit more passive. It has a little bit more stamina, and it also has a very round layer. So if you're more of a defense type of blader, but you still like attack, kind of, I guess a balance type blader is what you call it. This is a balance type Beyblade. I think this Beyblade is pretty solid. At least where the meta is right now, it's a fairly powerful blade. Now, as for its rating, I think I'm gonna give this guy a 7 out of 10. Now, that might sound really low, but hear me out. I feel like Scythe is a very good all-around Beyblade. It's good at attacking, it's good at defense, it's good at stamina, but it doesn't excel in any of those categories. For instance, if you want an attack bay, you're gonna use Dran Sword. You're not gonna use Scythe. If you want a stamina bay, you're not gonna use Scythe. You're gonna use an actual stamina Beyblade. So because of that, it's kind of like an all-round Beyblade. So I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. I think the best part part that comes on this guy is probably the blade. I think it's really good at defense, at least the testing that I've done. So if you're looking for a defensive blade, definitely go with this guy right here. Next, we have Multi-Nairo Stamina Beyblade. Here we have Wizard Arrow. Let's unbox it. Now, the first 4 X Beyblades are all starters, so they do all come with the Ripcord launcher. And the Ripcord launcher, again, like I said earlier, it's a pretty powerful launcher this time. And Burst and Metal Fight, you wouldn't catch me dead using a Ripcord launcher. Those things were weak as heck. But in Beyblade X, the Ripcord launchers are actually really good and debatably even better than the string launchers. But yeah, enough talking about that. Let's look at the Beyblade itself. Here we have the Blade Wizard Arrow. Now, to be honest, I don't think the Wizard Arrow blade is that great. As you can see, it's fairly round, so it does have decent defense and decent stamina. But in my testing, I feel like Scythe is just like a better stamina defense Beyblade. I'm sorry, Wizard Arrow, but you can't even do your job right. Although he is very beautiful. Next, we have the Ratchet. Here we have 480. It's very similar. Actually, it's the exact same as 460, except it's 80 millimeters instead of 60 millimeters. So it's slightly taller, which gives it slightly more stamina at the cost of burst resistance, because the taller your Ratchet is, the bigger it is, and when a Beyblade hits your Ratchet, your Bey goes kaboom. Finally, we have the ball bit, and as of the time of recording this, I think the ball bit is probably one of the best bits in all of X. It has really good stamina, and it also is somewhat aggressive, so you can still get some X attacks. So here is the Beyblade all put together. Now, overall, I don't think Wizard Arrow is the best stock combo Beyblade. I definitely think the best part that comes out of it is the ball bit. Everything else is kind of mid, so because of that, I mean, it's not terrible. We're gonna give it a 6 out of 10. Finally, we have the last of the original 4X Beyblades released. Here we have Night Shield 380 Needle. It's also owned by Multi-Nairo. This guy looks like Master Oogway. First off, we have the blade Master Oogway, and in my opinion, this thing sucks. Even though it's an amazing green color, I actually really like the color. The Beyblade, performance-wise, is not that great, and that's mainly because of this thing right here. That's a giant metal chunk there that makes the Beyblade very lopsided. The weight isn't very evenly distributed, so it doesn't really have that great of stamina. Now, it does offer for some really cool counterattacks, but the blade is just too round to really get any hard hits. Next, we have the Ratchet 380, again very similar to 360, except it's 80 millimeters taller. Same thing as 480, it has slightly more stamina, but slightly less burst resistance. Finally, we have the needle bit. Now, this is just a sharp bit, and in my opinion, this is probably the worst bit of the starting 4. Now, as you can see, the tip is very pointed, so in theory, this guy should have the most stamina because it has the least amount of friction with the stadium floor. But in actual battle, like practically, it doesn't really work out that way because it tends to lean over and scrape. So overall, I gotta say, Night Shield, not that great of a Beyblade, probably the worst of the starter 4. I'm gonna give this guy, honestly, I'm gonna give this guy a 3 out of 10. I think the best part that comes out of it, the blade, I mean, the blade is okay, I guess. It's kind of uneven, but it's kind of fun to use. 3 out of 10 for this guy. Not that great of a Beyblade. Next up, we have BX05 and BX06, and these guys are just recolors of Wizard Arrow and Night Shield. We have a red Wizard Arrow and a blue Night Shield. Now, if you're wondering why did Takara Tomy just release recolors of these Beyblades even though they just came out, I have no idea. I guess if you want to buy them without buying the launchers, you get these guys instead. Do I even unbox these? They're basically the same thing as these guys. I'm gonna give them the same score. I'm gonna say 6 out of 10 for Wizard Arrow and probably like 3 out of 10 for Night Shield. If you already have launchers and you don't need launchers, these guys might be the cheaper option. Next, we have B07, and it is this giant stadium set, which does not fit on camera. It is absolutely humongous. So you know what, let me go to the couch and we can unbox this thing. Alright, so here we are at the couch. You can actually see this thing. It is absolutely massive. So yeah, this is BX07, the Start Dash set. It's a stadium set. It comes with a string launcher, a grip, and a Beyblade. Let's open this thing up. Let me get my knife, actually. Alright. Oh my goodness, something just fell. Oh, here's the Beyblades and everything. Let's unbox that first. So here's the string launcher. It comes in a really nice blue color, and I actually think the mold for the string launcher is much better than the other string launchers. So if you want a really powerful string launcher, I guess you'll have to buy the dash set, which is honestly kind of expensive. I honestly just recommend you get the ripcord launcher instead. The ripcord launcher is just as strong, and you don't need to buy like a crazy expensive set for it. But this set does come with probably the best X Beyblade out right now, Dran sword, an amazing recolor. It's only slightly different, but that slight oh man, I think it looks so much better. Like the bottom, the clear plastic is actually like a deep blue now, and it's slightly darker. It's beautiful. But yeah, the main reason you're gonna buy this set is probably for the stadium. Here we have, oh my goodness, the X Stadium, and this is the only way to get the X Stadium in this clear color. Now for us, this is definitely the stadium we use just because you can see the LeftBurst mat underneath. That's just how we style our videos. That's how we've always done it. But yeah, overall, this is an amazing set to get if you don't have a stadium already, because you get a stadium, you get a string launcher, and then you also get the most powerful Beyblade, Dran sword. So, I mean, I gotta give this thing a 10 out of 10. All right, this one's not as big, but still pretty big. Here we have the BX08 3-on-3 set, and this is a really cool set because you get 3 different Beyblades. You get a Hell Scythe, you get a Wizard Arrow, and you get a Knight Shield. Although I will say, I think Dran sword's the best of the original 4, and you don't get that one. But yeah, let's open this thing up. Oh, this thing is beautiful. Alright, first off, we have Yellow Hell Scythe. I think this is 380 ball. Honestly, a really clean recolor. I actually really like the look of this guy. We already talked about Hell Scythe. It's a pretty good defensive layer, and ball is probably one of the best bits out there, so a pretty solid combo. Then we have Green Wizard Arrow. This guy kind of reminds me of the Pokemon Decidueye, and like I love Decidueye, so I'm all for it. Anyway, Wizard Arrow, the blade itself isn't really that great, but it does come with 460, a pretty cool ratchet, and this awesome like green color. And then it comes with Needle, a little disappointing. Alright, and our final combo is Knight Shield 480 Taper, and I will say this recolor is probably my favorite. It looks like a candy apple. I kind of just want to eat it. But yeah, something really interesting about this set is that you can actually make the stock combo of all 3 Beyblades. Give me 1 second. So yeah, it's not the prettiest, but if you don't really care about the original anime colors and you already have a stadium and launcher, then this is definitely the set for you. It's pretty solid. Honestly, probably 8 out of 10. It's a very cheap option to get all 3 stock combo Beyblades. Alright, so we're back to the couch because we have another giant thing. Here we have BX10, the normal. I think this is just the Xtreme Stadium. So yeah, let's unbox it. Not really unboxing it, we're just taking it out of a bag actually. So yeah, here is the stadium. Unlike the other stadium which we unboxed, this is a white stadium with green gears, and I will say it does look pretty clean. If you don't have, there's not really much to say. You can't really battle Beyblade X if you don't have the Xtreme Stadium. So if you don't have the Xtreme Stadium, but you have X Beyblades, this is definitely a 10 out of 10 purchase. But if you already have an Xtreme Stadium, this is a 0 out of 10 purchase. Why would you buy another stadium? Yeah, it's pretty... There's not really much else to say. Let's move on. Our next product is not even a Beyblade. Here we have the 3-on-3 deck case. All right, this deck box is pretty clean, but I will say it is kind of useless. Okay, it is a cool design, and I guess it is kind of fun, but it's pretty useless. Probably like a 2 out of 10. Alright, back to the real Beyblades. B13 is Knight Lance. Now this is kind of an upgrade to Knight Shield. Not really, it's kind of just like a counterpart to it. It's owned by Momulti Nairo. Again, it's a defense type right spin Beyblade, just like Knight Shield. Let's open this thing up. Alright, so here is the blade, Knight Lance. Now, Knight Lance is supposed to specialize in counterattacks. That's why its layer is a little more jagged, a little more attack-like. It's a pretty fun layer to use, but I don't think it's anything competitive. I do like its color scheme, though. It does remind me of Wild Wyvern in the Burst series. Then we have 480. It's the same exact ratchet that came on Wizard Arrow, and it's not that good. This is probably the worst ratchet, honestly. But I really do like the color scheme. It reminds me of, who's that guy from Monsters, Inc.? Sully from Monsters, Inc. Oh my god, I love that guy. And finally, we have the high needle bit. Now, I will say the high needle bit is probably the best defense type bit that we have right now. It's definitely way better than the needle bit. If you look at it, even though it's slightly taller, the tip is actually flatter, so it doesn't tilt and it doesn't scrape as often. So yeah, overall, I would say Knight Lance is a pretty solid Beyblade. Definitely the high needle bit is the highlight, but the blade itself isn't that bad either. But again, it's not the best Beyblade combo, so I'm gonna have to give this guy a 6 out of 10. Moving on to something really fun, Random Booster Volume 1. fun. Now, I know a lot of people hate Beyblade random boosters because it feels like you have to buy a bunch of Beyblades in order to get the prize pay, which is fair, but they are a lot of fun to open. And this time we have a really cool chase. We have the prize pay Shark Edge, and Shark Edge is probably, if not the best attack type blade. It has so much recoil, it hits so hard, and it comes with the new low flat bit. So yeah, you also have the chance to get these other Beyblades as well. Obviously the prize bay is Shark Edge, you have the second prize bay, recolor of Shark Edge, but then you have the normal ones. And as for the normal ones, I like the green Hell Scythe, and I also like the black Dran sword. A lot of people say it looks like Sans from Undertale, and I kind of have to agree with that. If we get Wizard Arrow or Knight Shield, I'm gonna cry, but let's open this thing up. Oh man, random boosters are so exciting. Alright, let's see what we get. In 3, 2, 1. Oh, Shark Edge! Wait, I don't know. Wait, did Beys And Bricks just send me the prize pay? I honestly don't know if Beys And Bricks just sent me the prize pay or we just got extremely lucky. Okay, we'll know when we open the next random booster if they just sent us the prize pay. But yeah, here we have Shark Edge. This thing is so awesome. Oh my goodness, I love its color scheme, I love its avatar, and like I was saying before, as you can tell by the shape, it has extreme smash attacks. It definitely reminds me of the shape of like Guilty Longinus. Now because it has crazy smash attacks, it also does have a lot of recoil, so when it hits another Beyblade, if it doesn't like smack it straight out of the stadium, it does tend to lose a lot of spin, so it doesn't really have that much stamina. But if you can defeat your opponent in like the first, I don't know, like 3 seconds of battle, this Beyblade's amazing. Dang, that's so hype. I'm so happy right now. I was not expecting to get a Shark Edge. Oh my goodness, a second Shark Edge. I'm so happy. Alright, anyway, the next part, this is the 360 ratchet. It's the same ratchet that came on Dran's sword, except this time it comes in a glossy purple color. And then finally, we have the low flat bit. Now, this is very similar to the flat bit that came on Dran's sword. I think they're actually the same size, except if you look, it doesn't have that hollowed out hole in the middle, making it slightly more aggressive but having less stamina. And if I were to give Shark Edge a rating, I definitely think it's a 9 out of 10 Beyblade. I don't think it's as good as Dran's sword, at least it's not as consistent as Dran's sword, but it can definitely hit harder than Dran's sword. So if you're a really skilled blader, I definitely think that Shark Edge is a better Bey for you than Dran's sword. Now for the random booster as a whole, I feel like for the most part all the Beys are pretty solid, all the recolors are pretty good, but if you're not going to pull Shark Edge, then I would say this random booster is probably like a 7 or 6 out of 10. Alright, moving on from that amazing prize Bey, we had the shark, now we have the lion. Here we have BX15 Leon Claw. Definitely reminds me a lot of Leon, except I'm gonna be honest, Leon was a cooler Beyblade. Alright, on the back it shows that Leon Claw is a right spinning balance type Beyblade. I think it's the second balance type Beyblade we got after Hell Scythe. It is owned by this guy called King. Oh, I forgot, this guy's a starter, so you get a really nice white and gold launcher. I feel like as a kid, Leon Claw would probably be my favorite Beyblade. At least in Metal Fight, Leon was definitely my favorite. Anyway, so here is the blade, Leon Claw. It is quite beautiful. I do like its design. Like the sides, like those are like kind of its claws and its mane, and it's really sick. Although the design is really cool, the Beyblade itself, or at least the blade itself, is pretty bad. It's not super round, but it's not super jagged, and then it also does not weigh that much, so I guess that's what you expect from a balance type blade. Next we have the ratchet. It is 560, and 5 has the most weight. I think it's the heaviest ratchet, although it has probably the worst burst resistance just because it has so many points to hit. Now finally we have the point bit. Now the point bit is really interesting. It's very similar to Dran Sword's flat driver, except well, it has a point in the middle. So if you launch the Beyblade straight, it'll go in the middle and it'll have really good stamina, but if you launch it like at an angle, it'll cause the Beyblade to move kind of aggressively. So I think this bit is actually really good if you're a really skilled blader and you know how to use it. For me, I'm not really that skilled of a blader, and I'm really bad with the point bit, so it takes a lot of practice. Anyway, here is the Beyblade all put together, and at first, I didn't really like the color scheme. I thought like the point bit being red like kind of threw it off. I thought that was kind of ugly, but now it's kind of grown on me. I definitely like the look of this Beyblade, and overall, I think this is a solid Beyblade. Not the best Beyblade ever. Again, the blade isn't really that great. The ratchet's pretty solid, and I think the saving grace of this Beyblade is definitely the bit. The point bit, if you know how to use it, it's really good. So I'm gonna have to give Leon Claw, for the learning curve, I'm gonna give it a solid 7 out of 10. Next up, we have something really interesting. It is a mini random booster. BX16 is random booster mini with the prize Beyblade Viper tail. Now, something really interesting about this random booster is there's only 3 Beyblades you can get, and they are all the prize Beyblade Viper tail. Now, the actual prize Beyblade is the recolor version, so let's just open this guy up and see what we get. I guess I'll just rip the top. Oh yeah, also, if you're wondering why the setup's a little weird, it's because I'm in college right now. I didn't get this random booster until I got to college. Alright, so here is the layer. Like I said before, it's guaranteed Viper tail, but which Viper tail will we get? Please. Please give me the prize bay. 3, 2, 1. Oh, okay. We got the black Viper tail. Still not a bad one. I actually really like this Beyblade. As you can see, there are scales inside the layer. I think the design is so clean. Anyway, let's move on to the other parts. We get the ratchet. I think this is 460, a pretty solid ratchet. And then the final part, I'll just take it out like while it's still glued to the box. Our final part is Flat. Okay, Flat's actually a pretty good driver. Alright, so here's a combo all put together. Viper Tail 460 Flat. A pretty solid combo. If I were to give this random booster a rating, I definitely think the Shark Edge one is better. I feel like Viper Tail's not that great of a Beyblade, but it does come with, I think this is, what's this part called? Orbit. It's called Orbit. It does come with the Orbit bit, which is pretty good. So if you do get the prize Beyblade, I would say this is probably a pretty good purchase. Maybe like probably like a 7 out of 10, but because it's random, I'm gonna give this guy a 5 out of 10 because the other Beyblades, they're not really that great. Alright, back to the couch again. This time we have another starter stadium. This one comes with 2 Beyblades though, and 2 launchers, so low-key, a little better than the original Star Entry Stadium. And oh my god, I don't know what just fell. Anyway, but it also does come with Dran sword as well, and debatably a better recolor. So this is probably more bang for your buck. I think on Beys And Bricks, this guy is $96 and the normal stadium is $90. So it's really only like $6 more to get an extra like Beyblade Wizard Arrow. And although Wizard Arrow isn't the best Beyblade in the world for like $6, I definitely think if you are getting into Beyblade X and you don't have any of the products, you don't have a stadium, you don't have a Beyblade, this guy is definitely the way to go. So let's unbox it. Now, I actually don't own this entry set. I didn't buy it because, well, I already had Wizard Arrow and Dran sword and a stadium before this came out, so it didn't really make sense to buy it. But Beys And Bricks, they sent me this for free for the video because they're sponsoring the video, so shout out to them again. And yeah, oh my goodness, wait, this stadium looks awesome. Wait, I really like the black stadium. Okay, so it looks like the black stadium has the same exact color gears as the white stadium. It has like a light green one, but I think they pop out way more in the black stadium. Wow, that is so clean. And because it's black, it's not gonna get stained, or you can't see the stains at least as easily as the white stadium. Yeah, dang, I really like that actually. That's really cool. All right, let's move on to the actual Beyblades though. Alright, so this set comes with 2 exclusive ripcord launchers. The only way to get these special like colored variants is buying this set. We have a blue one and a red one. And in Beyblade X, ripcord launcher is actually really powerful. So, low-key, like some people prefer them over the string launcher. Now, as for the Beyblades, let's start off with the lamer one, Wizard Arrow. Wait, okay, I said lame, but this thing is actually so beautiful. Wait, this recolor is so cool. Wait, I gotta take it apart to show you. Look at the bottom of Wizard Arrow, guys. Oh my gosh. It's like a white, glossy, clear color. Oh, that's so amazing. That's so awesome. Wait, and the ratchet I think this is 480. It definitely reminds me of the color scheme on Dran Dagger. It's like Wizard Arrow X Dran Dagger. It is flippin' beautiful. But yeah, overall, the Wizard Arrow Beyblade itself, I think I gave it like a 6 or 7 out of 10. It's not amazing, but it's not a bad Beyblade, I guess. Like, the ball bit's cool. Oh my gosh, guys, and oh, whoa, this thing looks so awesome! The camera doesn't do it justice. I'm holding it at a really bad angle. But yeah, oh my goodness, in person, this thing looks amazing. This is a Dran sword recolor black and red. That is beautiful. It also comes with the 360 ratchet, and it's like blood red as well. And then finally, it comes with the bit Flat. It's just a red flat bit. This one's not as cool, probably the lamest one on this Beyblade, lamest part on this Beyblade, but that's not really saying much because everything else is so fantastic. I mean, so yeah, I gotta say this is probably the best set to buy if you don't have any X products yet. You get a stadium, you get 2 Beyblades, and you get 2 launchers, 2 exclusive launchers, 2 exclusive recolors of Beyblade, and I guess an exclusive stadium as well. So I mean, I gave the entry set with the clear stadium a 10 out of 10. This is probably better if you don't have any Beyblades yet, so I'm gonna give it an 11 out of 10. But if you already have like a Dran sword and a wizard arrow and a stadium, well, you're not gonna buy the set anyway, so 0 out of 10 if you already have all that stuff. And even if you already have like a Dran sword, probably just buy the stadium by itself and wizard arrow by itself. It's probably cheaper. But yeah, let's move on to the next product. Next we have BX18, the normal string launcher. Now I already talked about the string launcher in the starter sets, but let's just open this guy up as well. Oh, it comes in like a little like plastic case. It's kind of cool. But yeah, this is just like the string launcher that released in the starter set, except I think this is actually a worse mold, so it doesn't function as well. Honestly, I don't think you really need to buy the string launcher unless you really want to use a string launcher. The ripcord launcher in X is pretty good, so I'm gonna have to give the string launcher like a 3 out of 10. It's not bad, it's definitely not terrible, but you might as well just use the ripcord launcher. Like, why waste money on buying a string launcher? Next we have BX19 Rhino horn. It is owned by this small girl in the anime that looks like a panda. I have no idea what her name is, but she has crazy veins and she is super powerful, super strong. Like when she goes to launch her Beyblades, her arm literally like pops out. It's kind of scary. Anyway, it is a right spinning defense type Beyblade. Let's open this guy up. So here is the Blade Rhino horn. Now the whole gimmick to Rhino horn is that it's smaller than normal X-Bays, except it has more metal, so it's like more compact. And that's really cool, but in battle, I don't really know. It doesn't really function that well as a stamina Beyblade, not because it doesn't have that much stamina, but because of its shape and its gimmick. It has insane recoil. So an attack type Beyblade goes in, they hit, and they both go flying. So yeah, probably not the best stamina type Beyblade. I haven't really tested it on attack combos though, so maybe this guy could be pretty good at attack. Next we have the 380 Ratchet. This is the one that released on Night Shield. Again, I think it has less burst resistance, more stamina. Solid Ratchet. Next we have the Spike Bit, and I definitely think that the Spike Bit is probably the reason you're gonna buy Rhino Horn. It's definitely the best part that comes with this Beyblade. It's a very good stamina driver, although I guess this Beyblade is like classified as defense. I think this bit has the best stamina out of any bit released so far. It also kind of blends into my background. Alright, so here is Rhino Horn all put together. Overall, a pretty solid Beyblade. At first, I thought this Beyblade was absolute booty. I thought it lost to everything and never won a battle. But then what I realized is you just have to launch this thing extremely hard, and then it's a pretty solid Beyblade. I'm gonna give this a... Oh, I actually really like the Spike Bit. I'm gonna give this 7 out of 10. I don't think the Spike Bit carries it that hard though. Moving on, we have BX20 Dran Dagger deck set. So something really interesting, at least about the X anime, unlike the past series where bladers are like super attached to their Beyblade, in X it seems like bladers have like multiple bays that they use. So Common X didn't replace Dran Sword, but this is kind of like a counterpart, an alternative that he uses sometimes, Dran Dagger. So yeah, let's open this guy up. It also comes with the prize Beyblade Shark Edge and a purple Knight Shield. The Beyblades always look so pretty, like straight out of the box. Alright, let's start with the main reason you're gonna buy this set for Dran Dagger. And I will say I do really like Dran Dagger. I kind of like the avatar design more than Dran Sword, and I definitely do like the color scheme. The blue and the white look amazing. Now for the actual blade, Dran Dagger is okay, but not amazing at attack. It's just too round to really be that great of an attack blade. Like when you compare it to Dran Sword has much harder hitting edges. And in the anime, I think it specializes in barrage attacks, and you can definitely see that in real life. Although I guess in real life barrage attacks are not really that great. Next we have the Ratchet. This is 460, the same Ratchet that came on Scythe, and I will say the color scheme looks amazing. I really like the color scheme. It comes in a deep blue and like kind of like a foggy white. Finally we have the Rush Bit, and the Rush Bit is probably the most interesting bit that Takara Tomy has released so far. It has smaller and less gears than any other bit released, so that basically means in theory that when it gets onto the gears of the stadium, it should move faster faster, but in practicality, it doesn't really work like that. In fact, it seems more controlled. Finally, the tip itself is very similar to low flat, except as you can see, it is slightly smaller, meaning it'll have less attack power, but more control and stamina. So overall, I think the rush bit is pretty solid for someone looking for a more passive attack type combo. So yeah, here is Dran Dagger all put together, and if I were to give a ranking to this Beyblade, I would definitely say it's a solid Beyblade, probably an 8 out of 10. Moving on to the other two Beyblades, here we have a green Shark Edge 380 flat. And I will say this is definitely a bang for your buck. Considering that Shark Edge is a prize Beyblade, extremely hard to get, this set makes it a lot more accessible. And straight out of the box, this combo is pretty solid. You get flat and you get 380, both really competitive parts. Then our final Beyblade is a purple Knight Shield 580 taper, and it does look gorgeous, although I will say this is probably the worst combo out of the set. It is still pretty solid. This is definitely like an attack type set, like all 3 bits are super aggressive. So yeah, overall, because you get Dran Sword and the new Rush bit, which I don't think you can get anywhere else, at least of the time of recording this video, and you get the prize Beyblade Shark Edge, this is an amazing set. I'm gonna have to give it, the set as a whole, a 9 out of 10. Moving on to its counterpart, here we have BX21 Hell's Chain Deck Set. Let's unbox it. Again, beautiful Beyblades. Alright, so first off, we have the Hell's Chain Blade, and the Hell's Chain Blade is pretty round. I would say it's pretty good for defense. I don't think it's as good as Hell's Scythe. It's not as round, but it's definitely a lot more beautiful. It's so pretty. Look at this Beyblade. It's gorgeous. Anyway, something interesting about Hell's Chain is it's kind of similar to Knight Shield, where the metal isn't distributed equally, making the Beyblade kind of unbalanced. And now, although it is somewhat unbalanced, because Hell's Chain is actually an attack type or a balance type Beyblade, it's a lot more aggressive. It's able to do a lot more than Knight Shield. So overall, I think this blade is pretty good. Next, we have the Ratchet 560. And again, 560, like I said for Leon Claw, is a pretty heavy ratchet with not that great burst resistance. Still a really solid ratchet though. And then finally, we have High Taper. Now, usually when we get high and low bits, the bit is actually a lot different. For this guy, the only difference is, well, it's slightly taller, so nothing really that special. So here is the Beyblade put together. It is gorgeous, and the stock combo actually performs really well against other stock combos, but competitively, if you're mixing combos trying to make the best combo possible, I don't think this Beyblade is that great. I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10. The next Beyblade we have is a yellow Knight Lance 360 flat. Now in the other set we got a freaking Shark Edge, we got the prize Bay Shark Edge, and this one we get Knight Lance, and I guess we get the prize Bay part low flat, but I would definitely prefer Shark Edge over low flat. Anyway, the Knight Lance layer, again, it's an average layer. 360 is probably the best ratchet, and I guess it does come with the new part low flat, so this is a pretty good combo. Finally, we have the Blade Wizard Arrow. It's an orange wizard arrow. This thing is beautiful. It kind of reminds me of Charizard. It comes with the parts 480 Needle, and 480 is probably like one of the worst ratchets, and Needle is probably one of the worst bits, so this combo is not really that great. So yeah, the set as a whole, I really do like Hell's Chain, and I guess Knight Lance comes with some pretty solid parts, but overall, I definitely think the Dran Dagger set was better. I'm gonna have to say, oh man, I mean, Wizard Arrow, this combo is like really bad. Like, we're gonna disregard that whole entire Beyblade basically. So because you get like a pretty trash Beyblade, and because like, I mean, can we even compare like Shark Edge to Knight Lance? Like, it's not even a comparison. This is probably like a 5 out of 10 set. Alright guys, our next Beyblade is flippin' spectacular. Here we have BX23 Phoenix Wing. This thing is amazing. It is the Lost Longinus of the X generation. We get a painted blade for it, and it looks just beautiful. So yeah, Phoenix Wing is an attack type right spinning Beyblade owned by this guy named Burn, and he is like Bird, but he is way cooler. Let's open this guy up. Oh my god, that Beyblade is gorgeous! So something really cool about this starter is that it doesn't come with a normal ripcord launcher, you actually get a string launcher. So if you really want a string launcher, I probably suggest buying this Beyblade as a whole, because you get a string launcher and you get a gorgeous Beyblade, which we'll talk about right now. So here we have the Phoenix Wing Blade, and oh my goodness, this thing is so beautiful. The design looks amazing and the paint looks so great. It looks like they dipped it in like red chocolate. I just kind of want to eat. I don't know why I want to eat Beyblades. Anyway, this thing is the heaviest blade I think Takara has released thus far. So because of that, it has crazy power. Its contact points, I would say, are not as sharp as Dran's sword, but that doesn't really matter since it weighs so much more. So overall, it is an amazing attack type blade, maybe even the best. Next, it comes with the 960 ratchet, and although the 960 ratchet looks really cool, it's actually the lightest ratchet I think they've ever released, so it's kind of booty. Finally, it comes with gear flat, and gear flat is really awesome. It's very similar to the flat bit, except the gears go all the way to the bottom, giving the Beyblade a lot more attack power and allowing it to grab onto the stadium gears a lot better. Now, although it does have a lot more attack power and speed, it does come at a cost. It causes the Beyblade to lose a little bit more stamina. But overall, it's a really solid bit. And here is the Beyblade all put together. It is flipping gorgeous, and in the stadium, it does extremely well. Oh my gosh, this thing is so gorgeous, man. I have to give this guy a 10 out of 10. Like, what other Beyblade deserves a 10 out of 10? This might even be our first 11 out of 10, if that's even possible. Anyway, let's move on to the next Beyblade. Next up, we have BX24 Random Booster Volume 2 with the prize Beyblade, Wyvern Gale. And I will say, I really love Wyvern in the Burst generation, but I gotta say, X did it better. The Wyvern looks so awesome! Anyway, here are the other Beyblades you can get in this set. You can get a Black Knight Lance, another Wyvern Gale, a yellow one. You can get a blue Viper Tail, a red Leon Claw, and a purple Wizard Arrow. I feel like we're always getting Wizard Arrows. Why do they keep releasing Wizard Arrows? Anyway, here's the back of the box, basically telling you all the bays you can get, and then also talking a bit more about Wyvern Gale's parts. It is a stamina right spinning Beyblade, and the special part that comes in the set, as you can see right here, it is Gear Ball. So it's like ball, except, well, it has gears on it. Let's open this guy up, and I think they gave us Wyvern Gale since we got Shark Edge, or maybe we just got lucky with Shark Edge. Let's find out. Alright, moments of truth. 3, 2, 1. Oh no! Wait, we really just got lucky. We really just got lucky with the Shark Edge. They just gave us random boosters, like that's crazy. Anyway, out of this random boost, wow, that makes me so happy that we got the Shark Edge, because that means they didn't actually send us like a guaranteed prize bait. They just sent us random boosters, and we just got super lucky. That's awesome. Anyway, so the bait we pulled out of this random booster is Viper Tail, a blue Viper Tail, and this guy is really cool. I actually really like the design of Viper Tail, even though that's not a Viper, that's a Cobra. The design is really cool. As you can see in the inside, it has scales. It looks amazing. And yeah, let's move on to the next parts. So here is the combo. Oh my god, this thing is beautiful. This is a gorgeous combo. Here we have Viper Tail 560 flat. And that's something really fun about random boosters. You really never know what you're gonna get. It's kind of the luck of the draw. Sometimes you get the prize Beyblade, and sometimes you get like an amazing recolor. Now overall, I gotta say this is probably, I mean, it's a random booster. I can't really give random boosters that high of a score, just because, again, you don't really know what you're gonna get. It's probably like a 6 out of 10, similar to the Shark Edge one. If I were to say which one's better, Shark Edge or Wyvern Gale Random Booster Volume 1 or Random Booster Volume 2, I think I like the normal bays out of Random Booster Volume 1, but I will say the prize Beyblade Shark Edge probably, well, edges out Wyvern Gale. Anyway, before we move on, let me pull out my Wyvern Gale so I can show you real quick and talk about the new ball bit. So here is an actual Wyvern Gale. It is flipping gorgeous. It's very round, although I don't think it's actually the best at stamina. I think Scythe is still the best blade at stamina, which is kind of ironic since that's a balance type Beyblade. It comes with the Ratchet 580, and it is kind of beat up, and I've already talked about 580 before, so I'm not going to talk about it again. But finally, it comes with the bit Gear Ball. Now, the Gear Ball bit is really interesting. Now, I got Wyvern Gale not that long ago, so I don't have too much testing with the Gear Ball bit, but the testing I do have, it is a very fun bit to use, and honestly, it might be competitive. I'm not really sure. This one's kind of a mystery, but yeah, it's very aggressive for a stamina type bit, although what's really cool about it is that it has really good life after death. Like when this Beyblade's at low spin, it seems like it should fall over any second now, but the Gear Ball bit, watch this guys. it just keeps on spinning. It's very smooth, especially compared to something like Needle. It's like the opposite of Needle. Needle, when it's like low on spin, it just falls. But with the gear ball bit, look at this. Wait. It seems like it has a lot more stamina than it should. So I think the gear ball bit's pretty solid, although it is pretty aggressive, so you can get a lot of like pocket outs or like self KOs. But if you're skilled, I think this bit's pretty good. So overall, I gotta give Wyvern Gale, ooh, it kind of looks like a cucumber, so I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. Alright, here is the final Beyblade product of this video, the last Beyblade product to release in 2023. Here we have BX25, the gear case. Let's open this guy up. Oh, actually, this thing is like super slick. Alright, so this product is basically just a case to hold your Beyblades. Let's see what's inside of it. Imagine if it comes with like a secret Beyblade, like we open it up and it's like Cobalt Drake. Oh, wait, this thing is really cool, actually. I really like this. Alright, so as you can see, it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 slots to hold Beyblades, so full combos. So you can put whatever Beyblades you want. I guess I'll put in all the new Beyblades I got. Oh my goodness, you know, I was clowning on this, but this is a really clean setup. All right, and then up here, I think this is a hole to put your launcher, and you put like the prongs in there. So that fits nice and snug. And I think this is a Bay Pass holder. I don't know where my Bay Pass is, but just pretend there's a Bay Pass there. And then on the top, you kind of have a little band thing here, so you can like put in all your extra parts, just like extra Beyblades. And actually, you know, I was clowning on this thing. I was like, this is such a stupid thing, just like keep your Beyblades in like a cardboard box or something. That's what I do. But this is actually really professional. Like, you showed up to the playground with like a kit like this and you're like, I'm ready to battle, I would be scared. So yeah, overall, actually a really cool case. Okay, even though it's cool and even though like it's really fun, I will say it is kind of unnecessary. You can just show up with a box and nobody cares. So because of that, because it's unnecessary, I'm gonna like take some points away, but it's still really cool. I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 10. All right, so that was the video unboxing and reviewing every single Beyblade product that was released in 2023. Maybe we'll do this in 2024. And thank you again to Beys And Bricks for sponsoring this video and sending me all this stuff. We really appreciate it. Again, check out their website, link in the description. Use my code LeftBurst to get 8% off. And yeah, see you guys later. Have a nice day. LeftBurst out.